Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is just going to be an explanation of what you see in here. This is the video from me making the fire extender, cotton pad, fire starters, however you want to look at it. And basically what I'm going to do is just going to tell you what I have going on. I'm going to try to just hit the high points. Kind of let you watch the video across. I think it's 16 minutes long. If you want to watch it all, that's great. It's not a real exciting video, but it is useful. Basically what we did is we went to the local Dollar Tree and picked up some candles, and we used the prayer candles that they had there. They were the inexpensive candles that they had. You're welcome to use any candle that you choose, whether you go to Dollar General or Walmart or Target or Kmart, wherever you might like to buy your candles. Pick up your candles, and then what you do is you take like what you see here and you put them in a pot, and you put water around your candles, about 3/4 of the way up the pot, maybe as high as like about an inch below the top rather of the pot, not letting it boil over. But you turn it on medium heat and let it go. It will take 15 to 20 minutes to boil, to actually get soft enough to start melting good. What I did here was I actually picked up some bamboo skewers to run around the inside of the glass to help loosen the candle from the jar itself, and in order for the whole candle to slide to the bottom, because as it melts it starts to melt from the bottom. And as you see, I touched the top of it to check for heat, see if the heat had transferred up the glass yet. I'd be very careful doing this. It may travel all the way to the top, so be very careful touching it so you don't burn yourself. These happen not to transfer the heat all the way to the top yet, so it was cool enough for me to touch it without damage to myself, which was good to know. It wasn't hot. But I used the bamboo skewers to move the candle around and to break it loose from the inside, to push it down so that it would continue to melt. Now what we did was I actually got some inexpensive plasticware. You can use whatever you choose that you want to. You can actually get away with using glass or stainless or whatever you want to use other than paper. Anything that you want to use that you want to reuse as far as cleaning up, it cleans up pretty easy. Any leftover wax that's on your utensils or your pots or pans, if you put hot water on it, it don't even have to be boiling, but this hot water out of your tap will actually cause it to break loose and come right off. You can wipe it out with soap and water and hot water. Usually does the trick. It's pretty simple. But what we did was we get to a point here in a minute where we actually pour some of the wax into the container, and at that point we start to dip the cotton patches in there. And as you see, we have actually have a crock pot set up there. I had considered turning the crock pot on and putting water in there and turn it on high and just kind of keep the wax melted. But we use it so fast I didn't have a need for doing all that. So we get to a point here in a minute, and we'll start pouring wax into that plastic bowl there. And we have some tongs over there that we can use to move the cotton pads around, or the cotton balls. We use some cotton balls as well. And we also have a skewer over there. That way I can show you that you can use anything that you choose to flip the cotton balls around, or the cotton pads. I have wax paper set out so that you can set the cotton pads after they're dipped on the wax paper or the parchment paper, which I have there. I ended up not using that and just putting it straight to the cookie sheet, which was fine. You can either spray your cookie sheet with a little non-stick spray, or you can just put it on there. And I found the easiest way to get them off is once you get them on, just stick them in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 minutes, or in the freezer for a couple minutes, and it will cool the wax to a point where it will just pop right off, and there'll be hardly any residue left on there at all. I had used the audio a little earlier and was listening to it, and it was just too much background noise. So I decided to do a voiceover so that you could hear it a little better. I had a couple of comments on my first video that the audio was not very good, and so I really wanted to do my audio a lot better for you guys. I think I have gotten that part solved. So hopefully in our future videos our audio should be in pretty good shape. There might be just a little bit of noise here and there, but I will do my best to get it through the editor to clear it up. I'm still learning that, so it may take me a few videos just to get it, right spot on, and not to be quite so nervous when I'm talking, so that I don't make so many vocal mistakes. And I'm sure that'll come in time. In the meantime, I do appreciate you guys taking time to listen to me, and I'm hoping to bring you a lot of value. This dollar store fire kit on a budget idea was really something that I did for myself in the very beginning, because a lot of the fire starters that were out there were anywhere from $15 to $20, per, and I just didn't have the extra money to spend on it, and so I was looking for a cheap alternative. And what I found different people online that were showing how they had taken cotton balls and used those as fire starters, and some had dipped them in petroleum jelly, and some had dipped them in petroleum jelly and then dipped them in wax, and others had just drizzled a little wax on the outside of some cotton balls, and others had completely submerged them. I found that during my experiments that if you will take some of your cotton balls and just dip them as is in the wax, it works really well. But if you will take your cotton ball while it's still dry and then put something like 3-in-1 oil or gun oil, which is those two I like to use, even CLP, which is a cleaning lubricant that I used for cleaning my guns and knives and stuff. I like to put that on my cotton balls. As you can see here, that one of the things that I'm doing is putting cotton balls and that sort of thing down. Those pads there, and you see the darkness in the middle, that's actually oil. That's 3-in-1 oil that I had put on there. But like I said, this is a pretty simple, inexpensive way to make a cheap fire starter that works good. If you've not seen my latest video that I just did on the fire starter and the different things that I'm using, you'll see that I've already tested some of these, so you can see how they work, and they work really well with using a lighter or a plasma lighter, match, that sort of stuff, and they do take a spark. But I have found that for me, I'm out of practice using my ferro rods, which, the more you use it, the more you get used to it, and it is a technique to it, so it really takes practice. And I've found that, in my personal practice, my ferro rods, and I have several, are my last resort. I mean, they are the absolute last resort, because I feel like that we were blessed to have the new technology that's out there, and we want to try to use that. And I feel like it makes good common sense to use technology that we have, especially when it's not very expensive. And then always have the ferro rod as a backup to your backup to your backup. So that's kind of the way I use mine. I've got, like I said, I have several, and I have one on each one of my knife cases. My sheaths, whether Kydex or leather, I have a 6 by 1/2 inch ferro rod that I carry on my leather sheath, and I have a 3/8 by 3 or 4 inch on my Kydex sheath for my everyday carving knife. But everybody has their own favorites, their own things that they like to use. But I highly recommend using modern lighters and setting up your kit, because you can carry several lighters very inexpensively. And I would carry different types of lighters: electric, plasma, and propane. So it's easy to carry the backup stuff that you need for those, and the repair kits that you need for those. The plasma lighters is real simple, especially if you carry a battery backup, and most of us do now because of our phone situation. In fact, the battery backup that I use for my cell phone is also a battery backup for my GPS stuff, and also has a solar charger on it, and my flashlight actually has a solar panel built in on it, and it's also a built-in energy source that I can actually recharge my plasma lighter with. My flashlight rather has a plasma lighter built into it as well, and of course it wasn't cheap, but that's something that I will show you at a later date. I think it's pretty phenomenal. It was a good tool to get. I carry it in my truck, my big truck that I drive, because it has a glass breaker and a seatbelt cutter as well built on it. and it's also about 3,500 lumens, and it's rechargeable, as well as having the solar cell built on it. It recharges itself while sitting in the windshield, so it's pretty phenomenal. So I like having flashlights, and I have several headlights and flashlights, and most of them are rechargeable, and some of them, like my big flashlight, is solar powered, so it is recharged by the sun. So having that as part of my kit, I think, is a really handy thing. I do thank you for taking time to watch this video. I know I talked to you about it on the first one, and I talked to you a little bit through my second one. So I know you guys, if you're interested in watching it, I think I've been able to talk long enough through this so that you're able to see the entire process so far. It's only just a little bit longer left, and only thing left to do is finish up these last few items to put on here, which I use the basic cotton balls, and at the very end I'll take some Q-tips, and they work out as good fire starters as well, because once you get those going, they burn for quite a while because of the cardboard handles of the Q-tip, with the cotton on the ends and the cardboard in the middle and the wax all the way around. It actually acts like a candle. And so if you had like an extremely wet day, and your wood that you find is maybe a little bit wetter than usual, it'd be good to use these as a backup to help your fire get started, because the candle effect will allow it to burn just a little longer. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you. Thank you again for taking a walk with me here at Midnight Amongst Monsters.